All right, so Vice President Kamala Harris hit the ground running following President Joe Biden's decision not to run for re-election and endorse her as the Democratic Party's next nominee. As of last night, she has secured enough delegates to get the party's nomination at the convention in Chicago, which, by the way, is just less than a month away.
Yeah, tomorrow, the Democratic National Convention Rules Committee will meet about the next steps in the process, while Republicans threaten to file legal challenges to keep her off the ballot. So here to break down what those legal challenges would look like and if they stand a chance is CUNY constitutional law professor Natalie Gomez-Velez. So good morning to you, Natalie. Thanks for taking the time this morning.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Yeah, good to see you. It's like don't blink, right? I think things have really been moving at warp speed since President Biden's announcement Sunday. Vice President Harris, she already secured the support of nearly 2,000 delegates. But conservatives are fighting it, right? And they're vowing to mount legal challenges in each state to keep her off the ballot. What are the chances, though, that they will be successful?
From what I see so far, none that I can see. I mean, you've got sort of laws in each of the states that have, for example, deadlines and requirements for notice of the nominees. Those deadlines so far have not yet passed. They're coming close. There's early ones in August and September, but the deadlines haven't passed and they haven't formally announced the nominee because the convention hasn't happened. So there really isn't a basis for, I mean, I don't know what the legal challenges are, what the basis is that they're saying. From what I've seen from Heritage Foundation reports and things like that, there doesn't seem to be a basis to challenge.
Well, here's the thing, right? Natalie, every time we talk to you, we say it's an unprecedented event.
Yeah.
So there is no precedence for this. So could we be in a whole new territory, right, where this is the precedent setter and rules could change because of this is a first?
You make a great point, because I wasn't even going to get into the weeds, because there are folks who are taking a closer look and saying, well, no, there's no basis that anybody can see now. However, we've seen one unprecedented, path to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court doing things that are just outrageous. But right now, there doesn't seem to be a basis for that. There's that case back, I don't know if you remember the state legislature here, case Moore v. Harper. Some are speculating they might have left the door open. I just don't see it, though. And it's kind of rich for the Republican Party to kind of be trying to meddle in the Democratic Party's decision to choose its nominee. That's something that's up to the parties.
Yeah.
I'm curious, though, let's talk about the money, though. The donations coming in at a record pace, right? And they've been pouring in for Kamala. Republicans, though, they want to sue to prevent her from having any access to the money donated to Biden's re-election campaign. But her name's on that, though, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, it's the Biden-Harris ticket, right? And this complaint that's, for example, that primary voters voted for Biden. Well, if they voted for the Biden-Harris ticket, so there's a basis for Kamala Harris, and then from the perspective of the campaign funds, they were for the Biden-Harris ticket. She's the Harris of the Biden-Harris ticket, and my understanding is that she has access to those campaign funds because she's part of that campaign.
And that was the whole thing. That was the whole conversation before Kamala Harris was chosen, was that the war chest would go to her. That conversation was happening in the weeks and months prior to the president making that decision, right? But again, we're in uncharted territory, right? So now you look at the running mate of former President Donald Trump, J.D. Vance. He says what's happening is anti-democratic, right? Those are words, but we're talking about legality with you here. So what legal maneuvers, if at all, I know there's the lawsuits, can Republicans pull out of their hat to try to stop Kamala from being on the ballot?
I don't see any. I mean, the nomination hasn't happened yet. I mean, they just had their convention, right? Imagine they would lose it. People said, well, you can't have your nominee because whatever, it's too late, we don't like them. If it's met the deadlines and it's the choice of the Democratic Party, which makes the rules, and my understanding is they put rules together for how this nomination process is going to go forward, that's up to the party at this point. And so it would really be a stretch, especially given recent laws about, campaign finance and how money can flow into campaigns. And the degree to which political matters, right, are beyond the Supreme Court's reach, those kinds of things. So yeah, I don't see how they could succeed. But to your point, Dan, we are in such unprecedented times that I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised if something popped up. But right now, I just don't see it succeeding.
Yeah, former President Trump says he wants a do-over. That's not happening. But just quickly, though, you mentioned deadlines. So if we go beyond, if we reach the convention, is it then they can't really file any kind of a lawsuit to stop it?
Well, you can always file a lawsuit, right? I mean, it's whether or not it has any legs. Some of the things that the Democrats need to be paying attention to, and there were some folks who were warning about this when, you know, the last few weeks when people were kind of saying, yeah, we'll just open it up and anybody can be in. It's like, wait a minute. There are state deadlines that have to be met. And I think the party rules folks are paying attention to that, right? So you're seeing this process where they're saying, well, it's an open process and anybody can raise their hand. But when you see what's happening with respect to the delegate count, and the campaign money that's coming in, it would be really hard to mount a challenge at this point. But they still have to be mindful of meeting the deadlines. And for example, I'm trying to think one state that has an early, like an August deadline, and they're trying to get things done before then so that even though that deadline was changed, it doesn't go into effect until September. But they want to make sure that they meet it anyway to avoid the kind of legal challenge that might come for something like that.
All a big what if and what
anything
comes
goes.
next.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's and there's another conversation. There's rumblings in the political world, Natalie, that there could be some questions of whether J.D. Vance was the right choice and will he remain on the ticket, right? And there's a whole legal issue there because the convention already happened. We'll continue this conversation.
That's so
Let's go
interesting.
grab a
Right? 'Cause they
cup
might
of
do the
coffee,
same thing.
Natalie.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Appreciate you. We'll have you back soon because every day is unprecedented. We'll talk to you.
Sure is.
Thank you.
See.
All right.